Hey there everyone, this is Samuel Johnson and welcome back to Lyoko Retrospectives. And today we're going to be discussing episode 89 of Code Lyoko, Music to Soothe the Savage Beast. And we're actually getting a resolution, I think, for one of the series' ongoing plot threads. In this case, Aelita's music career. So, remember how several episodes back we saw Aelita trying out to be the opening act for the Subsonics in a concert, or Subdigitals as they're now called? Well, the day of the concert has finally arrived, and Aelita's getting pumped up. Well, sort of. Essentially, pretty much, she's suffering from stage fright. She wants to still go out there, but of course she's getting the usual jitters that's a performer usually gets. Like, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe what if I mess up and there's a ton of people watching me, etc. And of course there are people who realistically are against her. And by people I mean Sissy, because Sissy's active is a giant bitch. And also stubborn. But bottom line, Aelita believes. Sorry, I'm gonna adjust this a little. Aelita at least believes that as long as her friends are there, that everything will be fine. Especially since she's the opening act for the Subdigital, she's gotten them each tickets for the concert. Unfortunately, we once more see Jeremy's people skills come back into play, as when Aelita goes to talk to him about everything, while he does offer her support and says that she'll do great, that she'll blow him away, he also admits that he's probably going to be late because he's working on a program to help the group better track replicas. And unfortunately, Jeremy says that he's going to be spending so much time with getting it all finalized that he's probably not going to get me at the concert when it starts. And Aelita, of course, is realistically ticked off at this. Like, she just comes, like, she says, I come in here telling you that I'm pretty much terrified of going out there, and here you are saying you're going to be late. I need support here. But Jeremy's of course acting like, well, what doesn't. He's pretty much just being a dumb boy and doesn't know what to say, and so Aelita just throws his ticket on the bed, says if you don't want, it's like, here's your ticket, if you don't want it, fine, give it to someone who does. And so she just storms out, and Jeremy's just left sitting there clueless. As such, the night of the concert arrives, and Aelita is getting all prepared. The rest of the group manages to get there on time, and they wish her luck, but of course she's still a little afraid, and as Jeremy said, again, sorry, he's still working on the code, so he's not there. The group does cover for him by saying that they arrived all together as a group and they just lost Jeremy in the crowd, but yeah, it's clear Aelita is still a little nervous. However, that quickly gets derailed because Xana launches an attack again. In this case, he possesses, I want to say the stage manager, the lady who's putting all this together, and so by possessing her, Xana is able to knock Aelita out and tell the Subdigitals, oh, she's sick, she won't be able to perform, and then carries her away. As such, Jeremy, who just got a call from the group that the concert is about to start, also ends up getting an alert that a tower's been activated, so he immediately calls the group, and sure enough, when they realize Aelita's not on stage, they go backstage and see her getting taken away, though unfortunately, Xana got some backup in the form of Millie and Tamiya, by possessing them, of course. And as such, Ulrich tells Odd and Yumi to go ahead and he'll distract them, and so that's exactly what he does. In the meantime, Jeremy manages to make it to the factory, but unfortunately, when he tries to get the stage manager before she can virtualize Aelita, he gets knocked into a beam and gets knocked out. As such, Aelita gets sent to Lyoko, and while Yumi and Odd are able to get there and knock out the manager and Jeremy ends up joining them in the lab later after he comes to, and from there it's once again just standard Code Lyoko fare as the group as Jeremy virtualizes Yumi and Odd into Lyoko. They fight some monsters, go up against William, who's also there. Aelita almost gets knocked into Digital Sea. Fight, blast, blast, blast. It's just, again, just the standard fare. As such, it once again ends with William being defeated, the group ultimately winning the day. They manage to deactivate the tower before the stage manager can kill Jeremy, and Millie and Tamiya can kill Ulrich. And so, because Aelita's a big chance kind of got, upended, Jeremy launched the Return to the Past so that she can still open up for the Subdigitals. So, and of course, this time Jeremy is there on time. So, all's well that ends well, I suppose. But what do I think of this episode? It's alright. For me, what launches it into alright is the B plot. And I'm not talking about... And I know I talk about how the B plot usually doesn't have much of an impact on the episode, but for me... But the thing is, this is once again an episode that's showcasing the development of Jeremy and Aelita's relationship, and once again how Jeremy and his social awkwardness does unintentionally end up hurting Aelita. Like I said, as we've seen throughout the relationship, Jeremy typically is not good at recognizing he's not good at seeing signals. And as such, he sometimes says things that are not filtered, so to speak. Like when he says that like when he ends up saying that, like when he said that Franz Hopper was dead and they should just not bother searching for him, even though Aelita is Franz's daughter, so of course she'd probably still be holding out hope. Or when he tried to write off the whole audition because he thought it was a waste of time, even though Aelita clearly wanted to go. And even as early as season 1, when Jeremy and Aelita had their little argument and both kind of both signed off and stopped talking to each other, both worried that they hurt the other's feelings. That ultimately that becomes a constant factor throughout the relationship, and this is no exception. Now, to be fair, the episode does showcase that Jeremy has developed. When Aelita does come to him and is expressing her concerns and fears about going up on stage, he does try and be reassuring to her and tries to tell her, it's fine, your fears are unfounded, you'll do great. And I like that. And that does cheer her up a little. What knocks it down, though, is what Jeremy says next, when he says that he's going to be spending the night working on the code and probably won't be there till later. Which, I'm sorry, I think is a terrible thing to do. And I'm sorry, and I know he's got to prioritize finding the replicas, which is a very important job. The replicas are out there in the world. Xana's using them to amass power. They don't know what Xana's want, and they don't know what Xana's using them for, what his end goal is yet, but they gotta find them, and of course that's important. But the problem lies in the fact that in the timing. He had to pick tonight to do it. Now, admittedly, he probably forgot. He probably very easily could have forgotten. But at the same time, the instant he learned that, couldn't he have, saved his progress and then come back later? And before you say, well, again, this is just Jeremy being socially awkward, yeah, it is, but he doesn't really have an excuse for it. Now, again, to be fair, he does eventually apologize to Aelita about not getting there on time, and while they don't talk about it, because when he does apologize, it's when she's in Lyoko, so of course they have to prioritize fighting the monsters and making sure everyone gets out alive over their stupid couple spats. But by the end, when they turn back time, of course, when Jeremy is there, he says, it's like I wasn't gonna miss this a second time. I hear that statement, and I think to myself, you should have been there the first time. I feel like that Jeremy should have still, offered more of an apology, and I think Aelita should have still been maybe, I don't want to say bitter, but they should have still had there should have still been something there. She should have been why, I know what you did was important, but I was scared, and I kind of needed your help. And I feel like that if they had elaborated on that, we could have had more emotion and more development to their relationship, with Jeremy saying, yeah, I know, I messed up, I did something bad, I'm sorry, I should have been here the first time. I feel like that we should have had, that moment, that bonding experience. Yes, Jeremy's there the second time, but like I said, he should have been there the first time. This is an important moment for Aelita. This is, even if it's not something he likes doing, it's something that she genuinely wants to be a part of, that she likes to do, even if he himself finds no interest in the task. So I feel like that maybe, just maybe, you could save your work and come back later. The replicas are not going anywhere, and you could easily just save that for the next night. Because, let's be honest, I don't think he gets done by the time everything gets finished, because when the group calls him and tells him, hey, you're late, and he realizes, oh crap, I didn't realize that, just let me finish one more equation. Before he can put that in, that's when he gets an alert that a tower's been activated. I still think he could have just, put this off for maybe a night, just for Aelita. Again, I know it's important, but this is important to her. This is something she's really looked forward to. And if you try and argue, well, they need to prioritize the mission over their lives, screw you. I'm sorry. I really shouldn't be saying that. I have no ill intent if you disagree with me on that, but they're still kids, for crying out loud. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, when the world's in danger or Xana attacks, they're going to always prioritize that, but that doesn't mean they should put their lives on hold for that. And Aelita, again, was trapped in Lyoko. This is a bit, and she wants to have her life, and the fact that she's here now shows a culmination of all her efforts to get there and form a life and identity. And again, I feel like that this is just a big moment that Jeremy should have been there for, and ultimately recognized he kind of effed up. And again, he does. Thankfully, that keeps it from getting me too angry. He realizes that he needs to be there. And so when they reverse time, he's there on time. It's just that, again, they should have had the moment where they both just share that, where Jeremy says, should have been here the first time. Aelita is a little hurt, but what's important now is that he's here, and he's here to see her show for her. And thankfully, that is there. That is thankfully there. She's glad that he's there when they reverse time. And I think that that's just sweet. I will give you that. They do showcase that moment, and they do showcase that genuine moment of sweetness, so it doesn't ruin it for me, I'll say that. It's just that one moment in the where Jeremy is just missed it, and then they just gloss over the hurt feelings that could potentially rise from that. I feel like that should have been given more focus. Again, it doesn't ruin the episode. At the end of the day, it's still all right. It still showcases more of their relationship, and of course, Jeremy is still the one that kind of causes the problem, albeit unintentionally. But again, I just wish they had that one moment. That's all. Otherwise, the rest of the episode's fine. Still great action. Still great tension. It's nice to see the subplot still continued on and brought to this point. So overall, it's overall still just an all right episode. Still nice, got plenty of feels, definitely worth watching. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you for watching. I'm Samuel Johnson, and just kind of heads up, the Lyoko Retrospectives are going to be going on a 1-week hiatus, but in 2 weeks we'll once more come back as we look at episode 90. But next week we're going to go back to the MCU perspectives with Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So, if you like that, I hope you look forward to it, even though it's going to be over an hour. I swear to God, I have a problem with those. But if you're here for Code Lyoko and nothing else, I'll see you in 2 weeks. So again, I hope you have a good night. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you then. Take care.